can see now that there is no bullets in the cylinder. I guess we can talk a little bit about the philosophy of revolvers versus automatics. For concealed carry, there is nothing more reliable than a revolver. They're very simple. They're caveman-like. Not a lot of parts in them, as opposed to an automatic. So there's not a lot that can go wrong with them. Usually, if you have a malfunction with a revolver, it's not going to be the gun. It's going to be what kind of ammunition you use. So, and if you own an automatic, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with malfunction clearance drills, but like an automatic, if you have some kind of misfire, you got to tap your magazine, make sure that it's fully seated, and you got to rack your slide to eject any unspent brass, and hopefully that works, and then you can start firing again. With a revolver, if you have a malfunction, that's all you have to do. Just pull the trigger again. So in a self-defense situation, I want something that I know is going to work every time, and for me, a revolver gets it done. You'll hear a lot of people say, well, you can't hit anything with a revolver, that they're not very accurate. I can tell you with certainty that I can hit a still-sized or a still target that is shaped like a man from anywhere from 75 to 100 yards with this gun. This particular one is like I said, a Smith & Wesson Model 642. It is a Centennial version. You notice that it does not have a hammer exposed. It's all internal, so it's a double action on the trigger, which means you pull the trigger, and what that does is then there's a hammer internal in the gun, and that pulls the hammer back and drives it forward, striking a firing pin, which hits your primer on your bullet, which ignites your powder, which sends the bullet out the barrel. This gun's extremely light. About 15 ounces, I believe. It is made of anodized aluminum, except for the cylinder and the barrel, which are stainless steel. It is a 5-shot revolver, so you get 5 shots, and it is rated for plus P ammunition, which means plus pressure. It's chambered in a .38 caliber. This particular model is the Deluxe Talo edition. Most of your 642s have a little bitty, in my opinion, a very crappy grip on it. They're a little bitty. You can only get about that 2 fingers on it, and then this kind of hangs off on the bottom. The Deluxe Talo edition, you get this beautiful rosewood grip with the Smith & Wesson logo. Nice checkering on both sides, which gives a really good grip. And you can get your pinky on there for very nice grip of the gun, for controlling of it. Because these hosses, let me tell you, if you start doing plus P ammo through it, they'll kick on you a little bit, and your hand will probably hurt a little bit with a bad grip. With this grip, it's actually hardly noticeable. You have the groove here for your thumb. The reason you don't have a hammer here is so when you pull it out of your pants, it doesn't snag on your pants or your shirt, and you can draw it relatively easily. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold today. One thing that I would say is a drawback of this gun. I don't know if you all can see this, but the lack of sights. You have a small ramp here that gets a groove cut out to a ramp for a front sight, and your sight picture is very hard to get really quickly, and for accuracy it's a crappy sight, in my opinion. Smith & Wesson could have done a lot better when making this model by simply cutting out more of this groove here, which would allow for inserts of like Trigicon. Night sights could have easily gone in there and in your front ramp, and give you a little bit of contrast and make your sight acquisition a whole hell of a lot better. But for what this gun is, everyday carry defensive handgun, it's actually perfect. Most of the statistics will show you that gunfights actually occur within, contact range to, 15 to 20 feet. And for that purposes, I guarantee you this thing will put bullets in someone's head or heart all day long without even thinking about it. So for reliability, this gun is probably one of the best on the market, and Smith & Wesson's, they stand behind their product. If anything goes wrong with it, you can always return to them and they'll fix it. They've been making revolvers for quite a long time, and they know how to do it right. If you look here, the cylinder locks up really well. There's no jiggle or movement in it. These things take a little bit of practice to learn how to shoot. It is a hard, or heavy, not a hard, a heavy trigger pull. And but when it breaks like glass. It's an absolutely beautiful break, probably the best braking trigger I've ever felt. But the only problem is it's kind of long, and it's a little bit heavy. But you have to really train yourself to do this. So what I've trained myself to do is pull the trigger in 2 stages. So as you pull, there's one part of the trigger that sets the cylinder. I don't know if you just saw that. And as you hold it here, it just takes a little bit at this point to break it. In fact, it's so surprising sometimes when you're trying to do it and it'll break over. And that's how good the break on this trigger is. But I mean, it is heavy, and that takes some getting used to and some practice in firing. So when you're firing, you set it, pull, set it, pull, set it, pull, set it, pull, and that's just how you have to work this gun. But for what this gun is intended for, it is a beautiful, beautiful defensive easily concealed defensive handgun, and chambered in 38 special plus P round, which makes it a very adequate for self-defense purposes. There's not a lot of people can carry a big 45 or something like that for self-defense. It's just not foreseeable. I was talking about this holster. This is how I normally carry it. There are other options. You can get a Kydex holster, which sits it in there, and you can put it on your belt or a paddle, and easily concealable too on these. And this is a Uncle Mike's Kydex holster for it. I believe Black Hawk makes one. It's a Serpa version, which has a locking mechanism here you can hit to deploy the gun. But this holster from Uncle Mike's fits nicely. The gun stays in there secure, and it rides right there on your belt or as a paddle, really nicely, easily concealed. You can put a T-shirt over this gun and it'll disappear because it rides so close to you. And it's just always there for rapid deployment if you need it. So there you all have it. The Smith & Wesson 642 Deluxe Talo Edition. A beautiful gun for self-defense and concealed carry. Okay, and talking about how I carry the Smith & Wesson 642, I showed you the pocket holster earlier, and it's right here in my pocket right now. You can definitely tell with the pocket holster if there's something in there. You can't quite tell what it is. It sits very comfortably. They're so light you barely even know if they're there. I mean, you can be sitting there talking to someone with your hand in your pocket, and they would never even know that you have a gun right there. And that's just in this pocket holster.